Hi, my name is Bennet, and I am a full-time filmmaker and content creator. And I like to tell people I have two main parts of my job. The first part is the actual filmmaking part. This is where I go out with my camera, I gather footage, I get to interact with people, and this is truly the beginning stages of the storytelling process. But all stories come to fruition in the edit, and this is where the fun begins. When I'm not out and about gathering footage, I'm normally editing from home. And if you're like me and you work from home as well, your at-home setup has to be just right, and you get to be picky. Everyone needs a desk, and when I'm looking for a desk, there are a couple non-negotiables for me. The first is space. I need to have enough room to spread out all of my things and not feel claustrophobic. The second thing is stability. My pet peeve is a desk that shakes and rattles and creaks. It needs to be able to support me leaning on it or laying on it sometimes. The final thing is it just needs to make my life easier. I shouldn't have to think about my desk while I'm utilizing it. And there are small things as a video editor that I just need on my desk. Room to fit an extra monitor, a few extra storage compartments, just small things that make my life easier. That's where my friends from Pith Stem come into the scene. Now, Pith Stem reached out to me about one of their DropTop desks. Now, I did some digging on their website, and I had never seen anything like this before. A desk that collapsed and folded back into the wall. I had just never seen anything like it. The concept was intriguing to me. Like, a desk takes up a significant part of the room it's in. It's often the main focal point of the room, but I'd never thought about having a desk, using it, and then just eliminating it from the room. So the idea was something that I was very interested in. Okay, let's first talk about the installation process. I received my desk and I was immediately curious about how the designers at Pith Stem went about this. I was really curious how they would account for putting weight on the desk, especially when it was attached to the wall and the desk just being so far from the actual wall itself. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there are several different ways to install this desk depending on the type of wall you have. I have drywall, and so installation was a little more extensive for me. It wasn't the easiest installation process, but the last thing I wanted was for this desk to collapse on me through the drywall, and so for me this was worth the time and effort. And I will tell you this right now, this desk is not going anywhere. I'm a 200-pound guy, moderately sized, and I can lean on this thing and put my full weight on it, and it's not going anywhere. Okay, first impressions. This thing just looks good. It's aesthetic, it's modern looking, it just fits in my bedroom, and I feel like no matter the style of design that I had in my room, this would just fit right in. It's discreet enough, especially when you fold it up, and it's like a simple addition to the room. Now, you can get a few different colors. I chose the obsidian, which is just a darker color, and you can actually get frames for the front of the drop top that have pictures and paintings on them if that's something that you're into, but I wanted more of a simplistic modern design, so I went ahead and got a matching frame to put on the obsidian desk itself. Now, let's get one thing straight. This is not a studio desk. I film a lot of talking head content of myself, whether it's for YouTube or social media. This is not a desk I would use for that, and I really don't think it's meant for that either. This desk is more for convenience, and that's really what Pith Stem markets it as. I use it when I want to keep things as simple and minimalistic as possible. Some days I don't want to pack up all of my stuff and go to a coffee shop or an office space. Like, I just want to stay at home some days, or, later in the day at 8 p.m. if I need to hop on a call or respond to an email or last minute edit something. Like, it's nice to just have something that I can whip out, fold down when I want to work on it, and then close when I'm done for the day. And I actually do a significant portion of my video editing here now. Just because I am able to stay at home because of the convenience of this. I really didn't realize this until I actually had the desk, but it's just so nice to fold it back into the wall. Like, I didn't actually think that would be such a meaningful thing, but again, back to the whole work-life balance thing. I am really trying to be better about that. I really struggle with finding a work-life balance, but even something as small as physically closing your desk for the day, it's just the little things that help that mindset switch to where I can turn off my work brain for the day and then relax and actually live in the same space that I worked for the entire day, but not have to think about work. There's also just a lot of little things about this desk that, again, make my life easier. There's these little compartments for storage where, again, it's not a desk meant for storage, but there's just these tiny compartments that are just big enough for me to store my mouse or some extra cables or a few of my hard drives, which is just really nice to have. Of course, the biggest and most obvious thing is the space for an extra monitor. As a video editor, I hate editing, especially longer form projects on my laptop. I just like having a bigger screen where I can just spread out my timeline and just see everything. It's really nice to have this addition in a desk, and so having this space is really crucial, and honestly, that's kind of a non-negotiable for me for a desk, is having room to put in an extra monitor. And then charging ports. This is so clutch. Again, just solving all the little problems that I didn't think I have. This desk actually plugs into the wall, and so it runs cables up through the back and onto the front where you can plug in your phone, your computer, or anything else into this desk so that keeps it fully charged. Again, just another reason why this desk is so convenient. Okay, who is this desk for? I feel like I can really only speak to other content creators and video editors. This is my full-time job. I'm a full-time filmmaker and video editor, and so I get the need for having a big setup, a massive desk with multiple monitors and lots of space. But I actually like simplicity sometimes, and with this setup, you really get the best of both worlds. But I also think this desk is just good for anyone who works from home. If you do any work on a laptop, this desk works for you. So what are my overall thoughts on the Pith Stem DropTop? I really like this desk, and I think it's sleek, I think it's aesthetic, I think it's stable, which is huge for me. I think the main selling point of this desk is just convenience. It's a practical but aesthetic addition to an already existing living space. Personally, I'll continue to use this desk in my everyday workflow, and I want to thank Pith Stem for providing me with this unique and useful tool to aid me in my creative process. If you work from home and want the convenience of having a place where you can be productive but also relax, then I highly recommend adding this piece to your living space.